are you? What are you? Tell me!
Who am I? That is a difficult question. Part of me was born Aya, less than a mile from this spot, 2,000 years ago. Not long, but generations for these puny creatures.
And the other part? The part that is responsible for this mess that took over this poor woman's body? What are you?
Quiet. Perfect. I can still smell the energy coming off you. Oh, this is better than I could have ever hoped. You have regenerated, haven't you? Very recently. You're burning like a sun inside. At this stage, it's so easy to unravel.
No!
Why do you protest? You're barely here at all. I'm going to pull this new body of yours apart at the seams. Oh, this is going to be delicious.
No!
This winter has lasted so long, and I do not think I will see it end. I caught the fever the day the first snows fell. Father hurried back from the fighting to be by my side. This was his tribe, and everyone seemed to have come to a standstill as he grieved for me. I heard them talking in hushed tones about how long I had left. Then came the day of the falling star. The Druids said it was an omen, a sign from the gods, and Father sent men to retrieve it, and they brought him back, the Shining One. I thought I must have been delirious, but there he was, standing in front of me, old, grey, thin, dressed in the rags of a peasant, his face covered by a hood. The warriors had mistaken him for a local scavenger at first, until he made fire from his fingers. My father told him of my sickness and of the many beasts already slain in tribute to the gods. The Shining One claimed that curing such a sickness was simple and offered his services. They rushed him back to me as fast as they could, but they were too late. I had passed during the night. My father despaired, saying that the tribe was cursed, that my death was a sign that soon the Romans would defeat our men once and for all. But the Shining One just laughed. Death is nothing, he claimed, and with a touch of his hand, he brought me back. My sickness was gone. Father rejoiced and asked the Shining One how he could be repaid. All he asked for was a moment alone with me. Father agreed. After all, if he meant me harm, why would he have already saved my life? The Shining One visited my tent and removed his hood. I had never seen the like of his face before. Where I had expected human features, there was the face of an insect looking back at me. Large, multifaceted eyes reflected my own face back at him as I tried to scream. And then he touched me. And then there was no more me. There was us. Contact with a female was made. My old form finally gave up and died as I took root in her mind. She struggled, but her primitive thoughts were no match for mine. And I approached the tribal chieftain in the guise of his healed daughter and set about building my empire. I let his tribe use my gift to resurrect their slain members from the dead, and the advanced tribe from the south were beaten back. But the energy involved was still too great, and I knew I could not sustain for much longer. So the tribe was liquidated, my dead puppets fell, and I slept, knowing that one day one of my enemies would return, a child of Gallifrey that I could feast upon, who would finally give up the secret of true regeneration and allow me to leave this primitive planet. I slept for so long. And then, one day...
That should do it.
They're coming from everywhere! Lieutenant, we have to do something!
Colonel, we need that bombardment. Bullets don't stop them. We need to blow them to smithereens.
On all the saints?
We don't have time to lose, sir. This is happening everywhere. And if we die here, we'll just turn into one of them. I've seen it happen. Court-martial me. Put me in front of a firing squad. I don't care. The whole world could be at stake. I, for one, am not going to let this plague reach my wife and child.
The radio. The radio isn't working. Or the vehicles. Even if we wanted to, there's no how.
We have horses, don't we? One man could get through easily enough.
Right. I'll go see who has the most riding experience.
Thank you, sir. I'll start to coordinate the defenses here. How many men do we have?
Not many. Just the company we have stationed here.
Fox?
And the wounded, of course.
We need all the men we can get. Anyone who can still hold a rifle can join the fight.
I'll spread the word. Good luck, Lieutenant.
You too, Colonel. Colonel Burns left to find a good rider. I gathered the men already in the building and organized them as best as time permitted. One squad covered the rear of the house, while another the main approach, with an MG stationed in the upstairs window. Every able-bodied man was pressed into action. The chaplain asked for a weapon, and Miss Peterson, despite being advised otherwise, insisted on helping with the fight. Soon, a dozen walking wounded joined the group from the building across the courtyard. The enemy started to walk into the fire zone. The MG felled many of them, and whilst it was reloaded, the men laid down as much fire as they could. The lack of returning fire meant the men were able to continue their attack without having to seek cover. The sheer number of approaching enemy and the fact that our firepower seemed to not deter them in the slightest started to panic the men. The men at the rear alerted us to a squad of ours trying to cross the courtyard to reach us. The MG was relocated to the rear of the house to provide covering fire. Even with this, it became clear that the men would never get through the gate, as it was blocked by the enemy. An enterprising private found the bazooka and created an opening in the wall through which the men could pass. The squad had made it to the fountain in the center of the courtyard when more enemy broke through a side entrance. This broke the squad, and in the confusion they were surrounded. Despite their best efforts, the men in the house were forced to watch them die, and then rise up to join the attack themselves.
I never thought so much power. Every cell in this body is being born again. I'm never going to die. Do you hear me? Never.
What are you doing?
I'm drinking you. Not all at once, of course. Just enough to restore my powers. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. Does it still hurt? I'm afraid you'll have to become accustomed to it. I'm sure there'll be a room in your TARDIS I can keep you in. Every few thousand years or so, I will dig you out and help myself to a little more. Would you like that? I wonder how much of the universe I will control by then.
You can't do this.
I can do anything I like now. Can you believe how much power I've had to sacrifice to stay alive? Right now, my influence is barely 20 miles across, and even then, these soldiers of mine are brainless drones. They can barely walk straight. How can I conquer the universe with them? But now I have the ability to let them think for themselves, to give them their minds back. Perhaps I should show you which one of these creatures deserves a second shot at existence, You! Here!
The Major! Stop it! You can't play with his life like this!
How typical of a Time Lord. One rule for one and one for another. Who are you to deny this creature life?
It's the natural order of things. People die. Cultures and race. Everyone and everything has its time.
Except you. Isn't that right? Your people stand high and mighty, whilst the rest of the universe suffers and dies before its time. Death comes to you and you simply walk away in a brand new body.
It isn't that simple.
Why not? Why can't you share your powers with the rest of the universe? My race tried to attain the gift for ourselves, and do you know what they did to us? Our civilization was wiped from history. A proud empire. Billions of people expunged from the universe. The few of us that managed to escape were hunted down and killed.
Except you. I take it.
Except me. Hiding on this primitive planet like an animal. Waiting for one of you to arrive. And now I finally have achieved what the rest of my kind failed. Eternal life. I believe you two have met, Time Lord. This creature's thoughts betray him. 3 hours ago he was killed. But now...
Stop this!
Regeneration. I'm not just restoring his consciousness. I'm rejuvenating every cell in his body. Behold. Look at him, Time Lord. He's alive, healthy. Barely out of his childhood. This man has another lifetime in front of him.
Where am I?
Ah, Major Herman, isn't it? How do you feel?
What's going on? I was wounded. Was I dying? There was someone, a prisoner, and I asked him to... It's you! What is this place? Where are my men? Have to report.
Silence, human. You serve a new master now. You have the privilege of being the first of my new army of warriors. These soldiers around you are your new command. This man...
The prisoner! He's some sort of spy.
Yes, Major, he is. A dangerous enemy spy.
What's wrong with him?
He is merely paying for his crimes. But his suffering is only just beginning. I have his ship.
Ship?
He will show us how to operate it, or he will die. This way.
Let them have it! Come on! Fire! Don't let up!
They're getting closer!
The MG was moved back to the front of the house, but the belt of ammunition loaded into it was found to be the last. The crew abandoned it. The enemy was getting closer every second. Soon every window on the ground floor was becoming swamped, and the men had to resort to bayonets to keep the tide back. At the rear of the house, they broke through the windows of the kitchen, and the men had to fall back into the hallway. The interior door was barricaded and grenades thrown through into the room, but that barely slowed them down.
They're still coming through!
Find something else to put against the door.
I think I saw a piano somewhere.
You two, help her!
We've got to get out of here!
Get back here, I need your help!
Sir, get down!
the barricade was destroyed. As the enemy started to swarm into the house, a young artilleryman, having found a few rounds from his mortar, set it up crudely on the main stairs, aiming straight at the breach. His first round took out over a dozen of the enemy who were packed tightly into the room beyond. He adjusted his aim and aimed his second at the ceiling, bringing it down on top of them, sealing the hole. Thanks, Private.
Lieutenant!
I'm all right. That was close.
Get up, Lieutenant. It's not over yet. I found the horse. The message is on its way.
How long have we got?
He should be there by now. Assuming the radios work, we'll have about 3 hours until the bombers arrive.
Sunrise.
But the doctor had a plan.
Robbie, if the doctor's plan was going to work, it would have by now. We can't pin all our hopes on some old man.
He's not just an old man.
Well, whatever he is, he's most likely dead by now.
They're breaking through, come on!
The enemy finally broke through the defense at the front of the house. The men tried to hold them back as best as they could, but they were heavily outnumbered. Everybody get back! Upstairs! Get upstairs! Get back, Colonel, there's too many of them! Several of the men were caught and killed before they could retreat, Colonel Burns amongst them. Realizing he had no hope of escape, he tried to slow their advance by detonating a grenade attached to his belt. Despite his efforts, the ground floor was conceded to the enemy. All the surviving forces retreated to the upstairs.
Unhand me at once! Ah!
The Time Lord's vessel. Guards, release him.
This room, it's huge. But outside it was just a wooden box.
Ah, humans. So easily impressed. Dimensional transcendentalism is a relatively simple trick.
I must be going mad. No, not mad. I'm dead, aren't I? I'm in the next life. I never believed. You call this place a ship?
And it is.
I always thought if there were to be somewhere, they said it would be a place of judgment. Is that where you are taking me now?
A place of judgment. I am your judge, but no. This ship can take us anywhere in the universe. Once my influence has spread to engulf this tiny planet, we can use it to take our soldiers to every planet in the cosmos.
Then I have already been judged? This is my punishment. I am to be a soldier forever.
And what is there to fear being a soldier when you can never die? This should be your dream, human. I've seen inside your mind. The petty little army you belong to will be ideal for my purposes. You wanted to conquer all of Europe, is that right? Why stop there? You can be a part of a Reich that never dies. How does that sound?
Please. You have to stop this.
The prisoner? What's happening to him?
Just as you and your comrades will live, he's dying. Forever.
Everybody ready? Here they come! Now! Light it, Robbie! The enemy reached the staircase. Running low on ammunition, the men had set about making Molotov cocktails. They launched them at the first wave.
The stairs are catching fire!
We can't stay here much longer.
Lieutenant, look! It's...
Huntley! Light another one, Robbie, quickly! Sorry about this, Private.
Sir, the fire isn't slowing them down!
Pass me a grenade. We're going to take out this staircase. Everybody get back! The staircase was scuppered, but the enemy continued advancing, clambering over the debris and bodies of their fallen comrades. Worse still, the building itself had now caught ablaze. A retreat was ordered to the roof.
So much power. Oh, I I'm getting dizzy. Show me how it works, Time Lord.
Never!
You can't hide this from me. I won't allow it. Come here. If you won't tell me voluntarily, I'll just have to open up your mind and take what I need by force. This will only hurt a lot. Where is it? There. That switch. Then that one. Into the vortex.
Major! Your gun!
What?
I'm stuck. I need you to shoot me.
Shoot you?
All of time and space at my command. Where to start?
Need to trigger a regeneration. Break. Cyclone!
Don't listen to him. He's playing with your mind. Where do you wish to go, Major? Back to Berlin? Let's see what your Führer thinks about the offer I could make him.
She's condemning you, Major, to a life of torment and cruelty. Shoot me! Shoot me! It is our only chance!
Put that gun away, Major. You can't shoot him. We're still connected.
I've had enough of people telling me what to do.
You fool! What have you done?
Awake, are you? Took you long enough.
Where am I?
You're in the garden.
I can see that, young man. What am I doing here?
Distracting me. What's wrong with this useless thing? Ha! Only a dream screwdriver. But you think I'd imagine it with some more useful features. Never mind. We'll just have to rely on our wits, won't we? Come on.
Who are you? Is this a dream?
In a sense, we're in our mind.
Our mind? Oh dear. You mean?
Yes. It's a rather unusual state of affairs. This creature has had us stuck between regenerations for far too long. I'm nearly fully formed. Usually the process is so quick, only one of us would be conscious. But now... This way.
We're in some sort of maze.
A bit disconcerting that this is the state of our mind, isn't it?
Where are we going?
When you convince the human to shoot you, me, us, it pulled this creature in with us. Her fault, really. Tying herself so closely to our being. Now we have to find and destroy her, or I'll never be born. She should be in here somewhere. And we have to hurry. We can't last more than a few minutes like this, or we'll burn out.
Or you'll never be born. What about me?
Well, you've had your chance, haven't you? I like the hair and the attitude, but come on. Was regenerating into that old body really a good idea?
My old body? Of all the nerve! And you think you would be an improvement, do you? At least I have a full head of hair, young man.
Be quiet. If either of us is to survive, we have to work together. And if we fail, that thing will be let loose on the universe once more.
Very well, for the sake of the universe.
Shh. There it is.
Good grief.
Its true form. Hideous, isn't it? Right. Here's the plan. You keep it talking. I'll sneak up behind.
And me, gobbled up before I get more than a few words out, eh? Leaving you free to finish regenerating. I know your game.
Well, what then?
We're in our mind, aren't we? Yes? I'm sure if we pool our collective resources, we should be able to conjure up something that could give that thing a good scene to.
You're suggesting we overwhelm her psychically?
Precisely. She may well be able to control one Time Lord, but two, along with all the other soldiers she's trying to control, I think she may have overestimated herself.
That's a fairly large gamble.
Our options seem somewhat limited, my boy. Now, come on. We must concentrate on the same thing if we are to have any chance of succeeding.
Very well, very well. Quick before it spots us.
That's it. Yes, this could work.
Exterminate! It's not working.
She's too strong.
Steady, old chap.
Hostile elements will be deleted.
It's useless.
Concentrate.
It worked.
Yes, my dear fellow, it did.
Huh. We convinced it was eaten by an Isopian space beetle.
Yes, that's the way to do it. Not with malice or violence, but a creature acting simply on instinct. Ha ha ha!
Well, I suppose this is it. If you'll excuse me, I have a life to live.
Not so fast, young man.
Oh, please, get out of the way. We don't have all day, you know.
I'm not hindering you. Maybe you're right. I had my chance. There was so much more I wanted to see, but... Well, there will always be regrets, won't there? Maybe it's best just to let go. But promise me one thing.
Yes?
Miss Peterson, Robbie, see that she is all right. I'm afraid I wasn't all that kind to her, and I'd hate for her to think ill of me.
Robbie? Very well. If she's still alive, that is.
Still alive? How dare you be that callous? I promised to get her back home safely.
Neither of us promised anything to her. Why must we be responsible for a companion of our former self? I was planning on leaving, as it happens.
Leave without her?
Well, she's on her own planet, isn't she? What more does she want?
Her life back! This isn't too much to ask, I don't think.
Actually, it is. She knew the risks involved with our lifestyle. She's had plenty of opportunities to leave, and she chose to stay. Let her deal with the consequences.
We would never show such disregard to those who trusted us.
Oh, Doctor, I know you much better than that.
If you're the kind of person I'm going to turn into...
Turn into? Never is there one so blind as he who refuses to see. I am you. I have always been you.
Rubbish!
You may pretend to others that we are some noble soul who only knows and does good. But I know the real us. You've kept me down here, imprisoned me in the hopes of never seeing me again. But I have always been here. My time has come.
We are the result of our own choices.
Yes, we are. And I am our choice.
Not this time!
What? What's this? Let me out.
No.
This changes nothing. I am you. You may hide me, but you can never escape me.
Maybe I can't. But if I'm going to be the result of my choices, then I choose not to be you.
You'd better cling to your life, Doctor, because I'll be waiting. You should fear your death. You cannot hide from me forever. Patience is a particular virtue of mine.
I'm back. Did I miss much?
What? You've stopped changing. The old woman and the guards suddenly dropped dead.
Excellent. My little plan worked. Oh, my head. Almost too well, it seems. Oh, now where was I? Oh, please stop pointing that gun at me, will you? You'll have someone fly out.
The roof's clear, but there's nowhere to go. We're trapped.
They're still coming after us.
Are we the last ones left?
Looks like it. I'm going to have to take out the ladder. Only one grenade left, and I can't risk missing.
What do you can't mean?
There's no other way. I'm sorry. If I can stop them coming up, you might have a chance. If you do make it out. It's a letter. I wrote it to my wife this morning. Don't tell her I died like this. Tell her... Just make something up. Tell her it didn't hurt.
I'll make sure she gets it. You don't have to do this.
Here they come.
They've stopped.
What?
Look, down there. They're not moving! Lieutenant, he did it! The doctor did it!
I don't believe it! He did it!
Now all we have to do is get off the top of this burning building.
There. It's all right now.
I was so lost. Father. Oh, Father, is that you?
What happened to her?
This poor body must have been stolen from someone a very long time ago. It's all right, my child. You can rest now. She's running a high fever. She must have been dying when this thing took her over. Now it's gone. There's nothing keeping her alive anymore.
Where did it go?
She had a class deep inside my mind when I regenerated. My body absorbed it, consumed it.
So tired. Wake me in the morning, Father.
She's gone. Peace for her at last. We can mourn her later. Right now, I have a friend out there somewhere, and she's relying on me.
About 50 feet to the ground. If we tried to land on a body...
There must be a better way down.
What the devil is that?
Doctor, you did it!
Dear me. This place has seen better days. What are you two waiting for? Get inside, quickly!
But it's so small on the outside. Oh.
Doctor!
It's a pleasure to see you again, Robbie.
Good to see you too, Doctor.
What is this place? And what's this Kraut doing here?
Can we leave aside the petty bickering? Now, Robbie.
Doctor, there's a full-scale bombardment on the way.
Oh, dear me. We can't have that, can we?
There might still be some of my men alive out there, and now that the dead have gone back to staying dead...
Yes, that's all sorted. So, just a matter of taking care of the bombers. We're patched through. It's all yours, Lieutenant.
What do you mean?
You're currently speaking to Allied headquarters.
I am? This is Lieutenant Williams of the 101st Airborne. Recall the bombers heading for Bastogne. I repeat, recall the bombers. The crisis is over.
Reading you, Lieutenant. Say again. The crisis is over?
That's right. Recall the bombers. Over.
Understood. Over.
We did it!
Here you are. A bit chilly, but a fine morning nonetheless. You're sure this is where you want to be, Lieutenant?
We could take you home, you know.
No, I need to be here. I need to see if I can find any more of my men. We all got scattered after the attack, but if I know them, they'll be around here somewhere. We still have a war to fight. Like I said, Doctor, this war might not mean a lot to you, but it means a lot to me.
My dear fellow, of course this war is important. Oh, there have been bigger wars, ones that have had more effect on the history of the universe. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be proud for making a stand. You know, time will pass. The details may fade and alter according to who is telling it. In a few thousand years, this entire mess will be remembered as the defeat of Hilker, the four-headed serpent, who was bested by all other animals when they joined forces and turned against him. All poppycock, but the moral is still the same. What you did here today will never be forgotten. Ever.
Thank you.
Well, we'd best be off. I hope you find your men.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Lieutenant. Thanks for everything.
Goodbye. Oh, Robbie, that letter.
I know a quicker way of getting it to her.
And then they were gone. That was the part I could never tell anyone, not even the top brass. Oh, I helped write the AARs on the battle at Bastogne just so they could cover it up, but I always told them I've no idea how I escaped. I just blacked out. Later that morning, I found some more men from my unit holed up in a farmhouse. More and more drifted back as the day went on. We were down to half strength, but we soldiered on. Christmas Day came and went, and we spent most of it counting the dead. Dixon, Charlesworth, Lowry, Huntley. We never found Finnegan. There were lots more. On Boxing Day, Patton finally turned, breaking the siege and acting as if he'd saved our bacon, little realizing how much of the German forces had been softened up for him. But none of us ever spoke of what happened that day. Who would believe us? The years passed, and I grew old, like so many of my good friends didn't. I went back home and watched as my children, and then my grandchildren, had children of their own. A new century started. Eventually it got so that I could get back to Bastogne, to get together with the few of us that are left. Some of my closest friends now are the German soldiers I meet there every year. It's been so long now, it doesn't matter that we were trying to kill each other. Bastogne was an ordeal, and we all endured it. Now it's coming up to Christmas 2010, and I don't know if I will be here for the next one. I'm going to Bastogne for one last time.
Hey! Hey, you!
Yes?
Are you meant to be on the tour? They're looking for you.
Tour? I don't need a tour. I know these woods like the back of my hand.
They need to know where you are. The insurance? If you could come with me...
Oh, all right. I'm coming.
So, you were in the war.
See those trees over there? That's where my tent was pitched.
It must have been a difficult time.
Oh, it was. I was no older than you. Sent over here. Foreign country. People shooting at you. You don't know how easy you've got it.
We're all very grateful for what you did for us.
Well, you're a more forgiving man than me. If you had been in my country killing my grandparents, I wouldn't be thanking you one bit.
That was all a long time.
I did too, you know. Not proud of it. Not anymore. Just something that needed to be done.
It's all right. I forgive you.
Excuse me?
You did what you had to do.
Do I know you? Were you here last year?
I don't think so. I've only been here 2 days. You must have me confused with someone else. Come on, it's not far.
Doctor, did we do the right thing? Dropping him off in his future?
Major Herman was given a second chance at life. Oh, I know he caused me a lot of trouble, but all the same, I think he deserved another chance, and I couldn't exactly drop him off in 1944, could I? He was 40 years younger. Think of the questions.
I thought maybe you were feeling guilty about all the people that died. If the Major was brought back...
I have no way of knowing how she used her powers, and we can't ask her now in any case. No, that avenue is closed to us. It must be. I'm sorry, Robbie, but what is done is done.
All those people...
Yes, it was a horrible time. Truly horrible. Still, we've let one man escape it, and that will have to be enough for today.
I suppose so.
And how about you, child? You must be exhausted after all you went through.
I'm all right. Nothing a few days of rest won't cure. Where to next? I know me and your old self, we're always talking about some Olympic Games.
Yes, of course. Capital idea. You know, Robbie, you don't have to keep referring to him in the past tense. I'm still me. Deep down, nothing's changed between us.
I know, Doctor. It's just the new face. It takes a lot of getting used to.
New face? Yes, indeed. You should count yourself lucky, child. After all, I was very nearly an absolute rotter.
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. Well, what do you think? One more trip, or do you get off here? We're in your time, after all. A few months later, admittedly, but it's only a short hop.
Okay.
Okay? Well, that's fine then, yes. Absolutely fine.
Doctor, I hadn't finished. Okay, I'll go home. Just... not yet.
As you wish, young lady. As you wish.